It was mid-February 2016 when a man came to my house for a session with me. He sat down and he said, "I'd like to see if you can connect with my dear friend, Ed Mitchell." And I knew immediately who he was talking about, astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who had just passed 12 days earlier. I bring him up and start this program with him because Edgar Mitchell established the Institute of Noetic Sciences in 1973. So I was excited, not only because I would get to meet somebody famous, and I knew that if he could communicate, I would definitely be meeting him, even though he was no longer in the body. And excited to see if he was able to communicate so shortly after passing, as I said, just 12 days later. So we sat and I had to clear my mind of the things I already thought I knew about him, such as his connection with ions and the fact that he'd been an astronaut. And I set the intention, let me feel your presence, come and talk to us, but give me things I don't know about you. Because I am an evidence-based medium, and that means I need that evidence, things that I couldn't possibly know about those I connect with to validate that this is them and not me making something up. So it was a beautiful session because right away I felt him step in and was able to describe his personality, which actually surprised me. He had personality traits that I would not have surmised by myself. And his friend said, "Yeah, you've got him, you've got him." And he took me into his house, Edgar did, on our mind's journey. And he showed me certain things in his room, including items on a shelf that his friend clearly had seen personally in the many times he'd been in his house. We had a wonderful visit. He talked about how he passed. But what was most fascinating to me during that session was suddenly Edgar stopped using words and sent me thought bursts transmitted telepathically. And he gave me the thought that I could send my thoughts back to him the same way. And we kind of did this back and forth conversation with no words. And then he said, "Tell it to my friend this way." And I repeated what he gave to me. And I said, "Edgar's playing hockey with me. He's passing back and forth information in a burst like a hockey puck. And I know this has a double meaning. And I know that what he's showing us is you just had a recent experience with hockey." Now, this is what I'm talking about with evidence. The sitter, my client, said, "Wow, I don't like sports at all. And I especially have no affection for hockey, but we have a house guest this week and he loves hockey. So just to be a nice host, I took him to a hockey game last night. There I was sitting in the bleachers, bored to tears. And I sat there and I said, "Well, Edgar, maybe I'll be able to talk to you tomorrow when I'm with Suzanne." Now, do you see? That's clever communication, very evidential, and left no doubt in either of our minds that, hey, death is not the end. And that is the whole point of evidential mediumship. But there are